Hey guys, and welcome to your daily mobility flow. Today's flow is all about low back pain, low back tightness. So follow along and let's fix your back up. We're gonna start in a pigeon. So we're gonna fold one leg in front. Knee is about 90 degrees or just inside of 90 degrees. And we're gonna square up your chest towards that knee. And we're gonna lean over top. We're stretching out your glutes here, first and foremost. Biggest muscle in the body, we talk about that a lot. But your glutes are kind of hip movers. They extend the hip. They also externally rotate your leg, so they turn your leg out and then away from your body. And they act as hip stabilizers, which is great, but sometimes they work a little too hard, stabilizing the hip, and you end up with overstable hips or a tight low back. So we want to try to loosen this up by going into a little bit of internal rotation, and then by squaring our chest over the body, we're actually adducting as well. We're bringing the upper leg towards the midline. Stretch out your glutes. Let's switch sides. Fold your other leg in front. Honestly, when it comes to backs, tight hips, glutes, tight hip flexors, and tight hamstrings are kind of the main culprits most of the time. Those three big muscle groups all act on the hip joint. Your hip flexors obviously flex the hip, so they close your hip. Your glutes are hip extenders. They do the opposite. They're on the other side. They open your hip. And then your hamstrings act at the hips too, as weak hip extenders. In the way they're better at bending the knee than they are at extending the hip, but they do act on that joint. All right, we're going back to the first side. I'll loosen this up a little bit more. We're gonna start this low back session with just stretching out the biggest muscles in your lower body that act, and then we're gonna start to mobilize. We're gonna start to actually move your back around a little bit, low back and upper back, to finish our flow. Switch back. If you guys are regular attendees to our not so regularly scheduled program, you'll see we got a new angle. I'm straight on instead of in the corner of the room, which we'll see how it pans out. We got a little different. We'll move some stuff around. I've been working over the last week trying to set this room up to be a little bit better for shooting these. I think actually what I can do next is back the camera up a little further and still have like a good picture here. All right, go ahead and rest. We're gonna take a big lunge now, and we're gonna drop this back hip in towards the ground. So I'm trying to sink my hip down. We're gonna start with your chest upright first, and we're just gonna lean into this. We're aiming for this hip flexor and just relax into it. So what I think I can do in the room is actually back the camera up a little further, which should give me a better angle to be able to stand up more and not, lose my head out of the top of the frame, which will open up our options for mobility stuff a lot. That's my goal. Right now I'm kind of hamstrung, get it? Okay, never mind. By really having to be down on my knees and into like lunge positions, and that's it. So that's what I'm working on. I'm thinking about actually, let's tuck that in. So we're gonna tuck your arch down to the ground. We're going to the inside of the knee. I'm gonna drive my hips in, stretch out a little bit of that groin. I've been toying with this idea for my basement. I've got this like long room, and then it connects to like a second room, which right now we have a bed and a dresser in, but no one ever sleeps down there. I've been toying with the idea of turning the longer room into my office, which is what this room is actually. My computer's right there and everything. All right, let's change sides. Big lunge, hips in. Oh, that feels so good. And then taking the back section of that room, it's this long room, and there's this back section of the room with a big opening. And I've actually been thinking about cutting the carpet out and throwing rubber down and almost build like a little mini indoor gym, which if that were the case, I could put the camera right on the outside of that room and face in, and I would have just like this entire room that's dedicated towards filming, which means better lighting, more consistent shooting, easier setup, takedown, and then more options for our stretch sessions and warm-ups, and then potentially we get into workout stuff. That's really, all right, let's drop your hips in, because honestly, that's really where my expertise is. I'm a coach, I'm not a yoga instructor, I'm not a stretching instructor. I'm a pretty decent coach of, strength and conditioning, high school athletes, and some pretty fairly competitive post-high school athletes too. So it'd be nice to be able to actually give away some more of my expertise, because honestly, this ain't it. This works. It's not bad for you, but it's like the simplest possible approach to stretching that you could have. Okay, we're gonna sit straight out in front now. Last stretch before we do some mobilizing. We're going feet straight out in front, just square it up, and we're gonna lean forward. Okay, if you can't really get a decent stretch in this position, then what you can do is elevate your hips, grab a pillow, a very short bench, and sit on that. I'm gonna pop my heels out of my shoes actually, because that helps me a little bit. And then we're just gonna relax over and let gravity do the work. Again, if you can't get far enough forward to actually start to let gravity pull you, raise your hips up a little bit and sit on something, and then lean over and start from there. Just pause it, go get your things, a couple pillows, press play. So anyways, for those of you regulars, I'm not done yet. I just needed a week to reform this room, make some small changes for organization so that we can hopefully start shooting some stuff that's better, truthfully. I've been toying with the idea as well. In fact, if you're really irregular, give me your feedback. I've been playing with the idea of cutting the music out altogether, which honestly would save me a lot of time, because I wouldn't have to adjust the music volume. I wouldn't have to search for a song that I can use, add it in, get the right volumes, music to speaking. I could just literally shoot, crop, and post, which in this follow along format would cut my editing down a lot and would really open up the opportunity for me to shoot with less barriers in my way and a lot more consistently, but there would be no background music at all. All right, let's go ahead and relax. Let's move your spine a little bit. So given the format, let's go back to your knees, and that these aren't like super educational and like super edited. Taking the music out would basically mean I could just shoot, post, which would make it a lot easier to do 5 days a week again. All right, cat cow. Let's go back and forth. Arch your back, look up. We're including your neck in this, so chin down, big back. Nice and slow. Try to get as much range of motion as you can. So anyways, For those of you who comment regularly, who watch the videos regularly, you know who you are. We talk, okay? I comment back. Please give me your opinion about music, no music, knowing that would change things to potentially, 5 days a week. Because I could just shoot, crop, and post super quick. They wouldn't be the most catchy videos in the world for new people, but that's not really why I'm doing this. The goal of this channel has nothing to do with me, needing to support myself or grow anything other than wanting to give away stuff that's useful, going back into a lunge that will help people. And that's it. That's all that matters. Okay, so I got my left foot forward, my right hand down. Now I'm gonna take my left elbow down to the ground and then open it up. Let's do a couple of these waves. All right, change sides. All right, one more rep. And that is your daily mobility flow. Thanks guys for being here. Thanks for watching. If you're one of the ones who comments and gives me your opinion, 2 times thank you for you. I appreciate it greatly. And yeah, my plan right now is to be back in 2 days for another video, and then 2 days after that, and at least be at 3 days a week pretty consistently now that we got a little new vibe in here. So I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.